Good morning, people of YouTube. So we're back again with probably one of the most anticipated deck profiles for the channel as of late. This is the updated build of Leopardmon. So as you can probably tell from the title, I went undefeated at my local tournament with this deck. There were, I think, 18 players. It was like 18 or 19, just under 20. I played 4 rounds. I won all of my rounds 2-0 except Shine. The Shine matchup I 2-1'd because that is one of this deck's worst matchups. But if you can out-aggress them, they'll just put so much aggression on the board, then they really can't do anything about it. And I do play some techs against it. So my rounds were, I played against BJ's Shine Greymon, I played against Rookie Rush, I played against Purple Millenniummon with a bunch of Beelsmon, and what else did I play? Rookie Rush, Shine, Purple Millie. Oh, and Blue Imperial. That was the other matchup. So, I 2-0'd all of them except, again, BJ Shine Greymon matchup. And I absolutely love this deck. This deck is a lot of fun. And we'll just go ahead and get it right into it. So, starting off with the Digimon, I got 2 Upamon and 3 Demi-Vmon. This is a good number, I feel. With the entire point of the deck is to give all of your dudes jamming, so Demi-Vmon will let you draw extra cards, but for the times that you don't have Leopardmon on the board, there is Upamon, which has been a good blue baby for a very, very long time. This is the same exact egg lineup that I played in Dino Beat, and it's tried and true. I love it. Put those off to the side. I'm actually going to lay the deck out just because I feel like it makes a little bit more sense if I do it that way whenever we're doing this. And I'm going to go a little bit out of order. Typically, I'd start with the rookies and then go up, but we're going to go in the way that makes the most sense when explaining the deck. The boss monster of the deck is Leopardmon. So, for those of you that don't know, this is a card that most people consider the worst blue holo in the game so far, even worse than like starter deck Metal Garurumon. Now what this card says is whenever you Digivolve into this, you may play any level 4 or lower from any one of your Digivolution sources on any of your Digimon as its own separate Digimon. Just one, but the fact of the matter is by evolving into this, you get an extra body in play for the 4 memory that it costs to evolve into this. So almost free. And then it has a blanket effect that affects the rest of your level 4 or lower Digimon during your turn. It says they all gain jamming. So imagine if everything in Rookie Rush just had jamming by itself. And if you put this card into a deck like that, it just makes a deck like that super strong. So the entire goal is to evolve into this, make sure you're going wide. So that way, even if they deal with this, it doesn't matter. You've already played an extra body off of it, and they wasted removal on it. So you're going positive in that exchange. And then just by being on the board, this card applies pressure. You don't even have to attack with this, and most of the time you won't attack with this unless you're swinging over something, but because you don't want to like die to security. But there are cards in the deck to pump them up. But that is the main boss monster of the deck. We play 3 of it because it's blue, and we draw so many cards that seeing it isn't an issue. So, our blue Tamer of the deck is Davis. Davis is very good. He can grab you blue and green cards. This is technically a tricolor deck, even though the splash of red and green are both very small. And this has a potential to grab 2 cards. If it does, you're just going to win the game. But if it doesn't, you're grabbing 1. It's a good card, sets your memory to 3, so you can just evolve into your Leopardmon and choke them at 1, and it's really nice. Adds consistency to the deck, and it's just a really good card. So I'm going to go into the red package first. I play 3 copies of Tai and 2 copies of Gaia Force. So everybody knows and loves Gaia Force. It's a great card. I only played 2 of it because I feel like you only need 2 of it. It's blue. You draw as many cards as you can. It's spot removal for the cards that you can't deal with. Now, Tai makes it so that all of your Digimon gain 1,000 power. So by doing that, you can make Leopardmon 12,000. If you get 2 of these on the board, he can swing over things like Ceres and Blitz Greymon. And it buffs all of your champions to above 6,000 power so that they swing over every blocker. And it turns your Gaia Force on. This lets you just win the mirror match against Rookie Rush as well, because any body that they have that swings and survives security somehow, your cards are bigger than theirs now. Even your 2-drop, like 3,000 rookies, are just 1,000 bigger than all of theirs, so you can just swing over their cards. So the Rookie Rush matchup was an easy 2-0, partly because of Tai, partly because of blockers, and partly because Puppetmon is kind of broken. So I do play 3 Puppetmon as part of the green package. You can grab it off of Davis, kind of nice. And every time I want to cut a Puppetmon to make room for more cards, because space in this deck is super tight, something happens in my gameplay that just reminds me how broken this card is. So I feel like 3 is a good number. I could play 2. But again, we do play a couple memory borrowers in this deck as well, so you can borrow a bunch of memory and then spend it down, get yourself to 1, and then play this that you don't have to give them back any of the memory you borrowed. And that's just a really, really good play. Plus, attacking with it gains you extra memory, so this effect plus the Davis makes you evolve into another Leopardmon if you have extras, and it's absolutely nuts. So I do play 1 copy of Emo Palmon. With the Tai, this card trades with blockers. Astounding. And it's another 2-drop, so you can give this jamming off the Leopardmon. Leopardmon doesn't say just blue Digimon, so you can, if you have the Tai and Leopardmon, this is a 2-cost 6,000 jammer, which is too good not to play. I wish I could find space for more than 1 copy. Again, space in this deck is tight. If I was going to cut a card, it'd probably be Dinobemon. This card does come up. Again, this deck has a similar kind of vibe to it as Dino Beat. But it's not... Dinobemon is not necessary in this deck at all. It's just another card that you can kind of evolve on top of and start swinging with. And then whenever you put Leopardmon on a different stack, you can get the champion out from under him. So like, let's say you had a Veedramon under this. You can keep the Veedramon under this card so that it's 12,000 on all turns. And then with the Tai, it's 13 on yours. And then when you evolve into this, you can pull out like a blocker from under him. So it's really good. It's just another level 5 in the deck that you can swing with freely. And sometimes swinging with a level 5 with this deck is kind of scary. So I do like him, but he is the card in the deck I'm least sure of. So that's the 5-card green package, the 5-card red package. We do have 1 other card in the deck that isn't blue, and it is a single copy of Omnimon. So what this card does in this deck specifically is it functions as a 3rd copy of Gaia Force, and it functions as a 4th copy of Leopardmon at the same time, because by evolving into it, you can reset a Leopardmon and put it back into your hand. And again, space in the deck is tight, so finding a card that serves more than one purpose is pretty clutch. Omnimon is also the ultimate statement card, which makes it a good inclusion in this deck. The thing about Leopardmon is it provides pressure just by being there. So again, you're not going to swing with it a lot of the time unless you're swinging over something that you're sure you're going to live. So your Leopardmon isn't going to be in danger most of the time, except for by spot removal. And So Omnimon is usually going to be live. You can usually evolve into this card if you need to. And again, you're playing blue, so you draw a bunch of cards. If you don't see the Omnimon, it's not the end of the world. You do have Gaia Force. So if you need to out something, you can. It's just the ultimate statement card. You could cut one of these Tai for another option and one of these Gaia Force for another Omnimon. I do have a couple cards at the end of this that I'm going to go over. But this is already going on kind of long, so we'll just move right along here. We have our level 3s in the deck going on to the 39 blue cards that make up this, aside from the 5 that are already on the table. We have 7 2-drop vanillas. Again, 2-drop vanillas. These 7 plus this one make 8 with the Leopardmon. You now have 8 2-drop bodies that you can just swing with jamming for free. It's really nuts. We have 4 copies of Vmon, because if you're playing blue and you're not playing 4 copies of this card, I don't know. You're probably just playing like a super evolution based deck, I guess, like evolving up into one big stack. But even those decks should be playing a couple copies of this, because this card can swing for free on its own. No setup, no strings attached, just jamming. You get to draw your card off the Demi Vmon if you have that set up. If you don't, Upamon's live a lot of the times. Vmon is just the best card in the game as far as rookies go, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. So, I also play 2 copies of Drabumon. Drabumon draws you cards, and in this deck, drawing cards is pretty good. It's blue, so it's not something that we struggle with, but you can play this for 3, draw a card, and have a jammer out of it. So, kind of nutty. The last rookie that we play is this one Gomamon, just to round it out at 14. I didn't want to add a 3rd copy of this. I can't add a 5th copy of this. I felt like 7 of these was fine, so this Gomamon's here. It came up in, I think, 2 of my games in the tournament. And, you know, it's just a good inheritable, so it's fine. This could easily be a different rookie if you find something else that you want to play. Like the starter deck Gabumon, if you want to replace this for that one. That's absolutely fine. But those are my 14 rookies. 15 if you count the Emo Palmon. On to the champions. We have 3 Gorilla. It's still one of the best level 4s in blue. It costs 1 to evolve into. 6,000 power, 7 with tie, so it swings over blockers. And it's good to get your chains going. A lot of the times you're going to be playing a bunch of rookies, so just spending 1 memory to make your rookies bigger is very good. I have 3 copies of Grizzly. Again, Grizzly is very good. You're slapping down a bunch of rookies, so you can turn them into blockers. Especially since you're playing so many 2-cost rookies, these are really good. And this card, especially with Leopardmon, is amazing because you don't have to worry about evolving on top of blockers anymore. You can evolve on top of the blockers and then just make it come back to the field for free. I keep saying for free. It's for the 4 memory that you spend to evolve into Leopardmon, but you know what I mean. Now, we also play 2 copies of Vidramon. Vidramon is absolutely amazing in this deck. So, with the tie, he's a 7,000 and can swing twice. This card doesn't need a blue Tamer to activate its swing twice ability. It just needs a blue Tamer for the inheritable, which is an all turns plus 1,000. So you can make your Omnimon 16,000 base with this card under it, so that they need multiple power buffs to swing over your Omni. You can use this to pump up Leopardmon. This card won't be in your evolution stacks that often, because a lot of the times this is a prime target to pull back out with Leopardmon's Digivolution effect. However, that inheritable does come up. I wasn't utilizing the inheritable in my initial build where I topped the Bandai webcam tournament with a similar version of this deck in 1.0. But now that we have Davis, I'm playing blue Tamers, so it's kind of nice. This card also just single-handedly wins the Rookie Rush matchup because you have one body that can attack twice, it's bigger than all of their bodies, and any of their bodies that survive have to fear this card. And again, the 1,000 with the tie making the 7,000 double attacker with jamming is nuts. You will win the games. You'll win plenty of games off of that alone. So, the last champion of the deck is 3 copies of XVmon. This card is especially busted in this deck because you're playing so many rookies, you're playing so many champions, you're playing extra champions off of Leopardmon's effect. So, being able to just unsuspend something for free, give it jamming, or give something jamming, swing with it, evolve into this, keep the jamming because this is still a level 4, and then swing again it's just insane. I'd play 4 of this card if I could find the room, but I feel like all of these level 4s are very important. So, on to the level 5s, almost done with this deck. We got 3 copies of Bastamon. This card is nuts in this list specifically. It's nuts in a lot of blue decks because of the 2 cost to evolve, and it lets you ramp up pretty quickly. It's nuts in this deck specifically because of the 8,000 power. With the ties, like, if you have 1 tie, it's 9,000, can swing over every level 5 in the game. If you have 2 ties, like, you are as big as a level 6, some of them. And if you have 2 ties and a Vidramon, then you're as big as any level 6 in the game. It came up a lot in my Shine matchup against BJ specifically, where I would evolve this on top of a Vidramon so that it would be 9,000, so that he would need an extra Tamer to pop it. And there were a lot of situations where he couldn't spend the memory to get the 3rd Tamer in play and evolve into Shine, so I was able to just go into Leopardmon the subsequent turn and just start smashing face. So, I do really like Bastamon. I think it's a perfect level 5 for this deck. So, the other level 5, in addition to Bastamon and Dino Beamon, is 2 copies of the Memory Borrower Weregarurumon. So, this card, in conjunction with the Puppetmon specifically, is absolutely absurd. But this card in this deck lets you swing and then put more bodies in play so that you can just not care about how much memory you're giving them because it doesn't really matter how much they set up. You've put yourself in a position where your jamming plays will win you the game on the following turn. And it's not one of those cards that you're gonna ever swing with if you think that it's gonna die. And the ties, again, really help with that. So, most of the time, if you're gonna swing with this, it's gonna be over a body. Unless they have something like Terriermon on the board, or any of those, like, the one Rookie Rush matchup I was playing was teching in Terriermon, and, he just hard played it against me while I had 2 of these on the board, and I was like, welp, that sucks. But again, we won that matchup pretty handily. That was just a minor inconvenience in the grand scheme of things. But this card lets you extend your plays, and extending your plays in this deck just makes you win. So, it's a blue deck. The last card that we play in the deck is 4 copies of Hammerspark. So, put it like this so that you guys can see it a bit better. Yeah, that's the list. Again, like, comment, and subscribe, all that jazz. Let me know what you guys want to see on the channel in the future. If you have any further questions about this deck, let me know, because I feel like I explained everything pretty well. Your worst matchup is Shine. Saris can give you a little bit of problems sometimes, but you're faster than Red Omni. You can outmaneuver Rookie Rush, like this deck just has a lot of fun techs to beat Rookie Rush, specifically. Like the Digimon, and being able to overextend with the Weregarurumon against that matchup is also pretty nice. But yeah, I feel like this deck could also beat... Like, I was prepared for McDonald's Control as well, but nobody at my locals wants to play that deck. But I feel like this deck would have beaten it had I gone up against it, just because Leopardmon gives you such an advantageous board state that it's hard for that deck to remove all of your threats. So I guess the last thing I want to go over before we end this video real quick is the other cards that you could play as well. A Delicate Plan is an easy inclusion because you played the tie. This is a tech against McDonald's Control. If your locals is swarming with them, you can easily include one of this in your deck. And it makes it a lot safer for you to attack with cards like Digimon, especially since it doesn't check for just one swing. It's the Digimon for the turn, so you can swing multiple times with this. So this is just really nice against that matchup. I mentioned this briefly, but the starter deck Gabumon that lets you remove sources. This is a good card to include in this deck because it lets you trigger Upamon. It's not necessary, but if you do play something like the Shakuamon, then maybe you do want to include this Gabumon. So, Shakuamon is, again, another card to help shut out the Rookie Rush matchup. I just feel like this deck beats Rookie Rush. So, there's that. If you wanted to make this deck 4 colors, you could cut the Weregarurumon and the Dino Beamon and one of the Bastamon for 4 Shakuamon, and then like add Slash Angemon or something. That would be hilarious. I don't recommend it, but you could do that. That would just be a fun deck. Positron Laser is a card that I really, really wanted to include in this list, but with only 5 green Digimon to activate the card, I didn't feel like it was that consistent. I'd rather just have Puppetmon in a list like this, since I'm not playing any green Tamers. If I was playing more Emo Palmon, then I would play more copies of this. Or I would play a copy of this. And Metal Garurumon was the last card I was considering, the one from BT1. It's like Leopardmon, but worse, because it's when you attack. The thing about it is it's 3 memory to evolve into instead of 4. The problem is it's the same power, and I already said multiple times that you don't want to attack with Leopardmon unless you're sure that it's going to live. So this just puts you in a position where you're forced to attack in order to get value out of it. And you're not going to live all of the time. Like, not all the time is this a good card. Just because of that 11,000 power. If you have multiple ties out, sure. But even if you just have one tie out and I'm swinging with this, I'm kind of iffy. So, if you wanted to play a 4th Mega, like, I don't think the deck needs 4 Leopardmon, but if you wanted to play a 4th Mega, I would say either a 4th Leopard, a Plezio, or a Metal Garuru. But yeah, that's been my take on the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.